Alright, you are welcome. In this video we're going to be looking at border radius. In one of our previous videos, if you have been following this series from HTML up onto CSS, we talked about border radius, but we're going to be digging further into other border radius properties. Okay, we're going to be talking about these ones which I've listed here: border hyphen, bottom left radius, bottom right radius, top left radius, and top right radius. So what this does is it allows you to style individual edges of your border to different settings that you want it to be, or give it different curvature. And from your border bottom, border top, border right, border left, what it does is you can use different style, you can use different width size, and you can use different color property. Okay, so in our previous video when we dealt with border, we worked on our image, that is our img1, which is how it is saved on our CSS rule. So here in this video we're going to continue on from there as our example, and we're going to add a bit of border, and we are going to use unique characters for our different edges for our border. So we're going to start with our border bottom left radius, this particular properties that you see here. Okay, so I'm just going to change that a bit, and the top, let's give that a radius of 20. Okay, for each top, and I'm just going to copy this and paste it into our CSS rule for our img1, and we'll come down here and simply just paste that. Okay, let's make this a little bit neat. So we're going to create a little bit of space here using tab. Okay, all right, and that is in order. Okay, so we have to close this off with our squiggly brackets, and we have specified our border color, we have specified our border width, we have specified our border style, and we are now specifying the different edges, the kind of curvature that we want for our different edges. So we're using the border radius property in this particular video. So we're just going to save that. We'll come to our web browser and refresh. Okay, let's extend this a bit so you see for yourself. Okay, so what we have done here is, if you look at this particular picture, the border for the picture, you see that the top left corner and the top right corner have a curvature. I have given it a 20 pixel count curvature, but you see that the bottom right and bottom left do not have any radius applied to it. So that's how you apply your radius, and you can do it in such a way that you have a unique settings for your various corners. So that's how you apply your radius property for your bottom left and your bottom right. Okay, so we move on now to the other ones. You can also apply a generic value. In that sense, you can apply a general value of border radius, which is the first one here, that's border hyphen radius, and you just put 10 pixel. What that does is your entire four corners for your borders would take up 10 pixels of radius. Okay, let's just quickly do that to demonstrate it to you. All right, okay, so now we have a border radius of 10. I think we're just going to increase that to 30 so it will be more visible. 30 pixel. So our pixel count for our border radius is 30. We are just going to refresh this. Okay, and as you can see while the picture is loading, our border is the entire four corners of our border has taken up that radius, which is 30 pixels. So that's how you apply a generic value to your border radius. But just in case you don't want all your borders to take up that particular curvature, you can decide which edge you want to have that curvature. It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be all 4, and of course it can be none. Okay, to do that you can simply just set your border radius to 0, or don't bother to set it at all. Okay, so we're going to move on now and look at our border bottom, border top, border right, border left properties. And in those instances, you can style it separately. You can decide that you want your border top to take the style of solid or groove or ridge, inset or outset, and you can also decide to have a different width and of course a different color. So we're just going to demonstrate that very quickly. So we'll just simply replace here with border bottom. Okay, so now we're removing. Okay, let's retain our radius. Let's retain our radius, and we'll just simply copy and paste this border bottom. You copy this and just paste it down here. And we'll put our column. Now before we put our column, we put hyphen color. So we're going to be giving a different color to our border, and we'll just say red. Okay, you know that we use our hex code to specify dark green initially for our border, and now we're determining a different color for the bottom of our border, and we'll just save this and we'll refresh our page, and you see that the dotted lines under our border is now red. Okay, it's no longer green. Our border bottom has taken the dotted lines red. Okay, now also we can change the style for our border bottom. We just specify border hyphen bottom hyphen style, and we're going to be using the style solid. Okay, we're just going to copy this and come down here and paste it. Okay, so we'll just copy this and paste it down here and make a few changes to it. Okay, so we didn't spell our color correctly, so we'll just quickly correct that. And here we're going to replace color with style, and we just simply type style there. So now is border bottom style, and we want our style to be solid, so we want a solid red line beneath our in our bottom border. We're just going to save this and we'll hit refresh here, and as you can see we have a straight line under here. So you can play with these different properties. You can use whatever you want. You can decide that you want to have a different design for all the sides. Okay, so what we have done for the bottom, we can also do that for the top. And in order to do that, all you need to do here is to just replace top to replace a bottom with top. Okay, so now we're now specifying top, and we're styling the top of our border. We'll simply just save this and hit refresh, and as expected, our the design which the alteration which we made has gone to the top, and the top of our border is now red, and the style is solid. Okay, so what if, for instance, we want to increase the width of our border? Is the same thing. We simply just come here and and say border top hyphen width. I'm sure you already know what would happen here, and we'll put our pixel count of say 40 pixel. Really want this to be big, so it will be very visible. We'll save this up and we'll refresh. Okay, so as expected, we have this really huge border up here. This is just for practice, and this doesn't look so good, so we're just gonna remove this and retain the original colors that we had there. So we're gonna go back to style here. We're gonna go back to style, and we're gonna put okay, let's use outset, a different style here. Use outset, and we're just going to save this up and refresh our page. Okay, so what we're just doing here, we're just playing around with different border property. Outset is pretty much like solid when you're using it for one border. So that should do it for this video. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in our next class.